Well, the latest first that is coming in on the UPSC row, the Union Public Service Commission exams that had been at the centre of a controversy may now be postponed. This information is coming from our sources. Earlier today, Minister of State in the PMO, Jitendra Singh, met Rajnath Singh and Arun Jaitley. Also, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav wrote to the Prime Minister on the UPSC row. UPSC aspirants have been protesting against the civil service aptitude test, asking for it to be scrapped altogether. They have termed it discriminatory against those with the Hindi background. Well, Kamaljeet Sandhu is now joining us on the phone line with the latest details. Kamaljeet, this language bias that some of the students, particularly from the Hindi belt, had alleged has led to a massive row. Could the exams be postponed now?
Well, much furor has been caused by the students, and remember, it's the government which is in the eye of the storm, and obviously the decision even doesn't lie with the government, considering that UPSC is an autonomous body. But remember, since this entire row has erupted, it has come to the government, and obviously there's a committee which has been formed by the UPSC, the MOS, PMO and the DOPT. Jitendra Singh has been meeting both Arun Jaitley as well as Raj Singh. This is for second consecutive day, and remember, yesterday being a Sunday, he'd actually gone and met them at the residence, and today again the meeting has taken place in North Block, and obviously the government is trying to thrash out a solution on this. But remember, as far as this entire issue is concerned, the government doesn't seem to have any objection as far as postponement of the exam is concerned, which is slated for 24th August. But remember, the objection is on the language part. It's also over the CSAT issue. So if any bit of that pattern is changed, this is going to cause a lot more trouble to the students who are studying for a particular pattern itself. So they'll really have to wait for the committee to submit the report before taking a final decision. But at this point of time, the government seems to indicate that they're open to postponement of the exams. But at this point of time, they're still waiting for the committee to submit a report.
Right, and even as the government mulls ways to find a way out of this impasse, there is clear political pressure that's mounting. There is Akhilesh Yadav, who's written to the Prime Minister. There's Rahul Gandhi meeting all these protesters. Arvind Kejriwal seeking postponement of exams.
Well, definitely so, with different political parties also saying there are a lot of concerns regarding future of UPSC students. And remember, there has been a lot of dilemma as far as the government is concerned. It cannot be an impromptu decision, and that is why a committee was formed. The government had to say it in the parliament, and that is why they said that a committee has been formed. The government doesn't have an objection as far as postponement of the exam is concerned, but they're still awaiting a final committee report, which is likely to come in a day or so before the government can take a final decision. And remember, UPSC being an autonomous body will hold the final say as to what really happens. But we've seen there have been protests by the students outside UPSC, outside the parliament, so they do know that there is a lot of angst in the students. And remember, there are two ways about it. One is that the English-speaking students obviously want that the similar patterns should be followed. It's the non-English speaking, especially the Hindi students, who really want the pattern to be changed, and they're saying it is at a disadvantage to them. But the government said the solution does lie in the multiple questions that is really being sent at this point of time. So there is a lot of deliberation which is happening at this point of time, but the final call will only be taken after the committee which is looking into this entire aspect submits its report to the government.
All right, so the government clearly chairing a series of important meetings over the UPSC exam row, as it now appears that the exams could even be postponed. Kamaljeet, thanks for joining us.